Welcome to Mastering Digital Literacy Book Study. My name is Stacy Giacconi and I will be your facilitator for the duration of this book study. The platform in which we will be using for our assignments and for our discussion is Google Classroom. It is a learning management system much like Moodle, Blackboard, and Canvas. I feel personally that Google Classroom is definitely user-friendly, but does not have all the components for the instructor. So on the student side of this, it is definitely geared towards elementary and middle school. It is very basic, and you will see that the tools are very user-friendly. Because it is a Google Classroom, Google automatically builds folders within your Google Drive to house everybody's assignments. You will find this to be very true as you see when we get into our assignment builders. So I'm going to walk you through all of the tools and components of a Google Classroom. Welcome to Mastering Digital Literacy 2016-17 book study. My name is Stacy Giacconi and I will be your facilitator for the duration of this PD. The platform we will be using for discussions, sharing of ideas, creating of resources will be Google Classroom. What you are looking at is the main page of Google Classroom. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the tools, the capabilities, and the components of Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a learning management system, otherwise known as an LMS, very much like Blackboard, Canvas, Moodle, for those that have used those platforms as well. I personally feel that Google Classroom is a very elementary through middle school user-friendly platform. It does not have a lot of bells and whistles for the educator to use, other than the fact that it is Google-driven and Google Drive automatically makes folders for your classes, for your students. If you use a Google Doc of any kind, it automatically puts the student name on it. For organizational purpose, it is very fantastic. One downside is that it is in a blog format, which means that the most recent item that you post is on top. In a minute, I'll show you that can be adjusted, but that can be a negative in some sense. So we'll get started. You will see that you can see Stream, which is all of the updated things. You can look at students, and there's a little bit about the course, and we will look at each of those. Over here in the work that is due, any assignments will have a due date. You can see them all. It will tell you what's upcoming. Here is just a welcome. This is what your assignments will look like, your notifications, things like that, class updates, anything you see will be the most recent at the top, and then it will continue down the line. As of right now, I just have posted a welcome, and then I have posted your syllabus. You just click on the link and it will take you right out to our syllabus of the dates we are meeting and the topics that we are covering. When you signed up as a teacher, so therefore you will see a lot of components that are different from your students, and I will walk you through those. Obviously, there are no students yet because you have not logged in yet, but as soon as you log in, here's a class code. This is how you invite students to this course. This is the code that you all put in to become part of this. Guardian emails, this is something new, and I believe this is for the parent portal of this. I can invite students if they had an email, but of course if this were for a lower elementary or middle school where they are not old enough, age 13, to have that yet, then you just use the class code and they automatically are populated in here, and we can look at that once everybody gets in. About it just tells you who the teacher is. I can invite other teachers to collaborate with me, so those of you that pair students, both of you could see and post to this LMS. Obviously tells you exactly what this is. You can open it in calendar. You can put all of these assignments in your calendar. So we'll go back to Stream. Again, notice there's a welcome. There are 3 dots here. I can move this one obviously to the top, so I can't. I can edit it, I can delete it, or I can copy it. So if I edit, it now lets me put in a topic, an attachment, anything from my Google Drive. I can put in a YouTube link, or I can link any other outside information. And notice this is an assignment. Down here in this huge plus, this is where I can create an announcement, I can create an assignment, I can create a discussion question, or I can reuse a post. For example, if I were teaching 2 classes of math and I had an essential question and I created it in one class, I can reuse it from another class, and it would allow me to go get it from the class that I created it from. And we'll play a little bit with this today just so you're familiar with it. So I created an announcement, that was the first one, and then I created another announcement, and that was where I linked our syllabus. So basically you will click on the links that are shared with you throughout any assignments and such, and as we go through this book study, we will see all of the things that populate all of the topics and things like that, and you'll get a better feel for it. Also, if you have more than one class, you click the 3 lines, and you can go straight to your classes. You can go straight to the calendar. Here are all the classes that I've created. Actually, it's not all of them, but you get an idea. I made one when we had our PD for the technology challenge when I was helping somebody with one of their challenges. This was one that was created for a class I had last year. This is the 6th grade teacher, and I have 18 students in that. I'll go ahead and click on it so you can see what it was like. I can edit or archive it because every class or course that you create will show up here. I like to create a dummy course before I sign up for my students. So as you can see, I have a digital citizenship course. I had a public speaking course that really don't have any students because that was my dummy class. I got to organize how I wanted to, and then I would assign things out of it. So it's basically my plan before I assigned it to students. But we'll go in and look at this. This is what the students see. Notice there are 2 teachers. We collaborated on this so that either one of us could post. The last thing that was posted was April 19th. The students had to watch this video, and then they were to fill out this Google Doc. And what's really great is that I created a template, and then when I went to assign it, when I inserted it here, I was able to have an option to each student gets a copy. And that means that I save the original and every student can work on their own. I can also assign groups. So if I want all the boys working on one document and all the girls working on a different document, I can assign it that way. And then I have 2 types of documents while they can collaborate and work on the same document at the same time rather than having their own personal document. I gave it a due date. This is new, the topic. I can create a topic if I want it to be classwork, group work. It's basically naming your assignment. That I can also put in my standard. So if I wanted this assignment to have a standard for standards-based grading, I can do that as well. I can put that there. And then once I have different topics, they'll populate that drop-down box, and I can just keep continuing to populate and pull from that. So notice I could add a comment to everybody. I'm not sure if there's one in this class, but there was one where I had to have a class that they weren't writing in complete sentences, so I had to give them a reminder. But you can see that every class period I gave them instructions. So they logged in, there are their instructions. They could always refer back if they forget. And then I'm not repeating myself because I taught all 840 students, and therefore saying the same directions over and over and over to every class got a little tedious, and sometimes I'd forget, sometimes I'd add. It was just easier to do it that way. Again, what's really cool is you can see that 16 students completed this assignment, this essential question, 2 did not. But as we go through this PD, you'll see the benefit of possibly getting to use this in your class. Now, the downside is our students are too young, and it does not mean that they cannot, but it is something that Brenda and I and you as the classroom teacher will have to work through and decide how we want to get them involved if this is something that you're looking for. I really would like 4th grade to take advantage of this, possibly 3rd grade, because they will use this in middle school. So that, my friends, is just a quick overview. And like I said, as we get into this book study, you'll start seeing the benefits and some of the downsides and the positives. All right, enjoy.